I think that's a good segue to our first what if. So, what you got for me?
My first what if, so this is probably, I'm going to just say, are we doing any of order of significance or just a random what if?
It's however you want to present
Okay,
it.
so
If you want to go significance, that's fine. You want to go chronological, that's fine too. But we're just here to shoot the breeze here.
so one that I have right now because I'm curious what this would have meant for the history of their franchise. What if Oscar Taveras did not die?
That was a big one. I posted the question on Cardinals Reddit, and a lot of people brought this one up. So expand on that one.
So here was always this funny thing is that he came out about as a prospect. He was kind of going to be like the Cardinals version of the Mike Trouts, and it was around that time period. And I always laugh because, like, like that was when, like, baseball fans are really prideful and really competitive about who knows, like, I hate the expression you don't know ball, but, like, baseball fans love to be smarter than each other. And I used to hear all of these people would always tell me about Oscar Taveras and how lucky I was as a Cardinals fan that the Cardinals had them. And, like, as far as I'm concerned, I had Albert Pujols. And as a sports fan, you are never going to have it's very unlikely you're ever going to have somebody that was as dominant in their prime of their career be on your favorite team. It's like being a Chiefs fan right now at Mahomes. Albert Pujols was that level of guy there. Oscar Taveras was billed up as this guy, but I always wondered how everyone has such strong opinions of him when he was this prospect from a foreign country. And I'm like, like people made it seem like that there was this Oscar Taveras network I joked around about that, like he did nothing but baseball greatness and he was just, everything was just perfect. But the way that he was built up, and you could kind of see it as far as that, given his size and frame and the buildup that he had to him, and he did have that one big home run in the playoffs or like that, it was the idea that he was going to be the next superstar for the Cardinals. So when that did not happen, that was, kind of, it sets you back because you do believe you have a generational player, and then it's not even that he doesn't pan out, it's that he doesn't even get the chance to pan out. So that's a huge what if because you wonder where from that 2011 after losing Pujols, having a guy like an Oscar Taveras was supposed to be, again, the Cardinals do not spend money, so them buying one of these big name players is not their way of doing things. They need to get that guy as a rookie and get them hooked and addicted to what it's like to be a St. Louis Cardinal so that way that they can get him for that little bit longer. With the Pujols situation, I honestly thought that that was the best thing that could have happened both ways, or maybe that's another what if,
That
actually.
is another what if. Yeah, I
Okay,
wouldn't
okay.
don't want to
So
step
I'll
on
just
that
start
one.
with the Oscar Taveras one. That's going to be, and that's where I'll go with, yes, the Oscar Taveras what if, because he was hyped up as being this generational player. Again, more times than not, generational players do not fit the billing, but that was supposed to be their next stud and maybe could have carried them through this period where they have not had that. The Cardinals are always supposed to be a homegrown talent, and they have not simply. Right now, people are leaving St. Louis to get better, not coming to St. Louis to get better.
What is it about the team that keeps them from spending money? I mean, I don't consider them a small market team. I know the city of St. Louis is small. St. Louis County and the surrounding metro is, I don't know, 2-3 million. It's one of the bigger media markets, I guess. Is it
It's
just ownership being cheap? Why don't they
That's
spend
what it
money?
comes down to is that it becomes, and this was something that was a slap in the face to me during the COVID era. This was an actual statement from our GM or from our ownership where he said something about baseball not being as profitable as people think it is. And I'm just kind of sitting there where I'm like, they're giving out the biggest contracts for, and they're all guaranteed. And, like,
Yeah, these
and
guys are
because
printing money.
the money, I mean, the idea that all the consumption of it and stuff like that. And I'm just sitting there as a St. Louis Cardinals fan who, because I was an idiot, I was not financially well off, and I'm still not that. I'm like, well, what was going to be, or living high off the hog. But in my 20s, where I struggled and stuff, and where I would make a trip to St. Louis, which would cost me tons of money, and I'm sitting in my living room, and I have 14 St. Louis Cardinals logos present in my living room, and I'm going, where's all this money going? That kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Where they just certain teams realize that there's a good business in having loyalty. And that was actually something I noticed as in Buffalo is that you can sell false hope at high levels where it's like the Cardinals took for granted that they could always have, if we are just good enough to say we have a chance, we can fill the stands. And that's kind of where they got into there. And we're finally having some standards. I mean, the Cardinals have the second most World Series titles in baseball history. And the idea that, like, you can sell this, hey, we're always in it. And when we have, look at the two World Series that they won in my lifetime, 2006 2006 2011. Not great teams. You know, I mean, kind of they made these little savvy things, but never seeking out there. And I think it's because, yeah, they've been able to fill the stands and profit up on the loyalty. And the fans are finally kind of starting to speak out a little bit. They finally had a decline in attendance. And maybe that's going to impact us now. But I think that the owners look at this more as a business, not as a right, I guess I would say. Or not
Yeah,
a right, but a privilege to own a sports team.
exactly. Yeah, it absolutely is a privilege, especially when you're dealing with one of these legacy teams and legacy franchises that are tied to a city's identity and all that. Yeah, that's a shame.